So I'm going to introduce the practice of EFT in this video. EFT stands for Emotional Freedom Technique, and it's otherwise known as tapping. It's called tapping because part of the process is moving through a sequence of acupressure points on the body and tapping on them. That's the sequence. I might also put it in a PDF, but you will see me do it in an example. So the tapping on the different acupressure points stimulates the body's system. Some of them are attached to certain meridian lines. They all work with the nervous system. And while we speak on certain topics and we tap on the points, the vibration of the tapping helps to support the flow of energy in the system of the body and helps to break up stagnation and encourage flow and release blockages. So it becomes a very holistic practice. I personally don't always tap on the physical point. Sometimes I'm etherically tapping. I find, as someone who has received violence on the physical body, sometimes when I'm going into vulnerability in my system, in my memories, in my emotions, the tapping on the physical body is re-traumatizing, like it triggers me. So if you're, be aware and listen to your own needs and your own system. Also, sometimes I'm pressing and I'm like rubbing. It's more like a massage. So you can explore like what works, what feels like it works better for you. And what you will discover over time of doing the practice, that the depth that you can get to immediately, like you will begin to know your body, know your responses, know the way that your system can relax through the practice. And it's like any new pathway, it's neural pathways and trust in body systems. And as that's developing, the speed and efficiency and depth at which it will work on will increase. Yeah. So on another level, like how it works is, I guess, the two main things which I think have been the biggest gifts for me. It's about collapsing polarities and creating new pathways of possibilities within oneself. You know, so often when we want to start something new, whether it's a new dynamic in the way we relate to an intimate partner, ourselves, our work, our patterns of behavior, maybe we have insomnia or addiction, or we want to try something new in a direction at work or go on a travel. And, you know, there's often in those situations, there's like a yes, and then there's like, oh, there's the fears and the insecurities and maybe the self-judgment. And then, you know, our critic can come in and be quite harsh with us because of the fears and insecurities. It's the mask of like, but you'll never be able to, you know. So it can be easy for the innocent one in us, I guess, and also some of our younger selves, our inner child, to get overwhelmed by some of those other voices, even when the yes has been perhaps a very visceral sensation. So then we're quite polarized in like the part that's going for something and the part that's resisting. And I feel then like what we journey with EFT is collapsing both of those polarities and becoming the voice of compassion and understanding, which essentially allows us to break down the tension and stress within us around making any of those new steps, or around, which can involve, having to let go of past experience and maybe like integrate experience which we haven't fully yet been able to. And so for me, over many years, the tapping has been a very gentle way to restore trust, balance, and harmony in my system by letting me cultivate a much stronger inner voice of like self-like talk, if we're going to use terminology from things like internal family systems and parts work. So a voice of love and reason and companionship, who can hold the critic and the judge and the fear and the emotions perhaps that need to be digested, and meet them all within a held space of acceptance and support. And a lot of the script then that is used, that is said, because you'll find that there'll be maybe some key sentences that you will use on many of your tapping journeys, like sending parts lots of love, like acknowledging and seeing suffering, like saying, like I'm grateful for these revelations, and everything's going to be okay, certain things. And then it allows resistances and self-sabotages and internal critics to soften and feel like they don't have to work so hard, because we, as the voice of loving presence and awareness, is getting bigger and stronger in the system. So every time that we go into this practice, we start on this place here, which I think in the original manual is called the karate chop. And then we always start with a specific sentence, which is even though. That's always the opening. So I'll do one on EFT, even though I've never done this before and I have some skepticism about how this could actually work for me and be like an effective tool, I'm willing to give it a go. I'm curious, and I know that I want to truly and deeply love and accept myself. And that would be the setup, rubbing here or tapping here. So when we say something like that, the final phrase is, and I truly and deeply love and accept myself. But like with all things where we're working with the subconscious, if you honestly have an awareness where with this particular topic, like acceptance is like low or not existent, there's no point to say something which you know is not accurate. So that's why you can say, I want to, or I'm trying to, I'm learning to, I'm growing into, like frame it in a way which is going to be receivable for yourself, which is honest. This is a key through all of it. Like you can suggest larger things and possibilities that may happen in the future, but we don't want to overwhelm our system into feeling like, okay, I gotta like transform immediately into this better place or different perspective. Like it's this very loving, comforting journey of like melting things and dissolving edges and polarization into like a more comfortable sort of communion and connection and relationship where you're like, I think I think I can do this. I think it'll be okay. I think that's not such a big deal, right? Or this is life-changing. Okay, so we've done the setup. even though I feel a lot of skepticism towards this practice. I'm not sure if it's going to be effective and how it could work for me. I'm willing to give it a go, and I'm really holding the intention to truly and deeply love and accept myself and whatever comes up.